In the case study No Lie MRI, the author of our textbook, Jessica Pierce, describes the proposed practice of using fMRI technology in the courtroom to determine whether someone is lying. Now, there are all sorts of technical and scientific questions surrounding the feasibility of doing this and also the accuracy of its results, which I'm not going to delve into here. Rather, my concern here will be with the ethical issues that this practice poses. So, for the sake of argument, let's assume that with fMRI technology, we could determine perfectly whether or not someone was telling the truth. Even so, even if we could do this, would the use of such technology be ethical? The most prominent ethical worry expressed in the case study is that doing this would be a violation of cognitive liberty. By cognitive liberty, we can understand a special kind of right to privacy, the right to keep one's own thoughts private from other people. And it is this concept that I want to further consider here. In the abstract, there does seem to be a strong intuitive justification for upholding a right to cognitive liberty. It is, of course, important to allow one's thoughts to be evaluated, scrutinized, and known by other people in many contexts. And no person should expect to be able to think well if they never have a conversation partner other than themselves. But at the same time, we also recognize the vital importance of ensuring a space in which people can think as they like without the presence of prying ears. Not only would it be utterly exhausting to have one's thoughts constantly subject to the judgment of other people, but perhaps more importantly, affording people the right to a mental space of their own seems like a fundamental aspect of the respect that we owe other people. Still, while all that may be true, it has to be said that there is really nothing new about the concept of attempting to infringe upon the cognitive liberty of others. We might point to traditional lie detector tests, which, of course, are just less effective means of doing the same thing that is proposed in the fMRI test. But even if we put aside these technological means, the very practices and expectations we have around honesty and truth-telling are themselves means for infringing on a person's cognitive liberty. Whenever we ask another person a question, we do so knowing that there is a social and cultural pressure on that person to tell the truth. Ever since we were young, our parents instilled in us the value of honesty. And this is even more clear in a courtroom setting where telling a lie under oath is not just considered immoral, but is actually illegal. Now, none of this absolutely prevents anyone from telling a lie. In fact, lies are still told all the time. However, what this cultural pressure does do is influence people, at least to some extent, in the direction of telling the truth, even when they don't want to. That is, there is a pressure on all of us to reveal some of our innermost thoughts when we would prefer to keep them a secret. This is precisely how our cultural expectations about truth-telling are designed to work. And if that is so, then we are left with the following question. If it is acceptable to infringe on a person's cognitive liberty by exerting social pressure on them to tell the truth, then why isn't it also acceptable to do the same thing with an fMRI scan? That is a question that I would leave you to consider further.